Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I am Ellie and today I am here to chat a little bit about my plans for my haul revisits in 2022. So, going into next year, I have a lot more books that I haven't read that I bought this year than I did from 2020. This year was obviously a bit of a strange year again. We did spend a lot of it in lockdown here in Melbourne, but I also went back to work and that kind of threw me off, and it also meant that I was like a 2-minute walk from a Dymocks and also like a 2-minute walk from my best friend who is the manager of a bookstore as well. So it was a dangerous time. But, I don't really have an excuse. I bought a lot of books, and I think part of this is because I did end up reading quite a few from last year's list that, obviously didn't count to these. I have also read quite a few of these, but I still have a lot. So today I thought I would just talk through kind of how I'm planning to organize my haul revisits next year. I think I learned a lot from sorry, that was work texting me. I think I learned a lot from doing my haul revisits last year, in that the way that I did them did not work at all, and that I ended up not reading any of the books really in the chosen months. I ended up reading them, from like, okay, I'm going to read these books that I bought in September because this is what I really want to read. And, it's March and I'm not going to read any of the ones that I have on my haul revisit list thing. So this year I came up with a plan, and by me I mean I asked my friend Eli what I should do, and this was his idea, which I then very slightly tweaked. But here's the plan. So I am still gonna go month by month. That's the plan. It might come to certain months, just like it did this year, where I have in fact read all the books. It might happen, I don't know. Or in the case where I have, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 books from that month, and then I will just tack those onto either the previous month or the next month, just so that it's not like, I just feel weird about doing a haul revisit and being like, yes, these are 2 examples. These are the 2 books I have from June, and then that's kind of the video. So that's the plan. Anyway, so the goal in terms of the books is to read all of the books. So, for example, in January, I need to read all of the books that I bought in January of 2021, or I have to go on a book buying ban in February. So I really do need to go on a book buying ban. So here's the thing, this is absolutely going to happen, because there are some months. For example, in May, I went to a book festival with Angel, and we bought a lot of books. I think we bought like 15 each, and then we were like gonna swap them. So I think I have like 40 books in May or something. There's no possible way I'm gonna read all of those in the month. So book buying bans are gonna happen in 2022. I desperately need them to happen because I I don't really have any space left on my shelves, for one. And also, I'm getting closer to being up to 300 books on my TBR, which is kind of my personal limit. So I've talked about this in videos before, where I think that we all have a number for our TBR that seems ridiculous. And for some people that might be like 50 books. For other people that might be 500. For me, my limit right now is 300, because that's kind of the stage where I'm completely out of room on my bookshelves, and I just feel stressed about having that many. And I guess it's more the sense of that, knowing that I'm just going to keep buying more and that that number won't really drop down, that kind of makes me stressed out. And also just kind of the knowledge that hopefully, I was planning to last year, or this year, but hopefully in 2022, I will be moving, and the thought of having to lug around 300 unread books, let alone all of my read books, is ridiculous and terrifies me. So I just want to get it down to a more, I don't know, just a number that I'm more comfortable with. I did unhaul some books this month. You'll see an unhaul in a few days' time, and you know, things like that. But there's still a lot of them, and I'm stressed about it. So that's kind of the goal for these haul revisits, is to read through them. So I do have a few like caveats, I guess. For example, so I have to at least read 50 pages of a book for it to count as started. And if I start it in the month, then I don't necessarily have to go on that book buying ban if I've read them all. And also I set it as 50 because I tend to give books to page 100. That's usually kind of, if I've reached page 100 and I'm still not liking it and I've still held on, I've definitely DNF'd it or unhauled it. Most of the time it's like way before that I'm just like, nah, I'm done. But yes, that's it. I also have a tendency to read like 20 pages of a book, put a bookmark in it, and then never pick it up again. Or not never, but like, you know, it's 2 years later and I finally read it. So I am still kind of working that bit out in terms of, okay, well, I've read 50 pages of this book. I don't want to just stick it back on my shelf, because I know me. I will, like, in the last few days of the month, be like, okay, I'm just going to read the first 50 pages of all these books. So I think there might be a sort of a carryover in that, if sort of so if I started in Jan, let's say, by March, I haven't read it, maybe I unhaul it. And yeah, I want to give myself that extra month, because I do have some really big books that I just highly doubt that I could finish in like a month and a half. And also, you know, just things like that. It's going to depend on how busy I am, what's going on, how I'm doing like health-wise. So I also don't want to push myself too much, because my health has been pretty shit lately. It's not like absolutely the worst it's ever been. I haven't been in hospital for a few weeks now. But I know that sounds so ridiculous, but that's a win. And yeah, I just don't want to stress myself out too much, because if I get stressed, even if it's just about books, I will end up in hospital. And I don't really want to do that because it's not fun to be in hospital with life-threatening conditions every other month. So, yes, that was a really long rant. So I have that. I'm also counting DNFs and unhauls. If I do any of those in a month, then that's fine. That takes the book off the list. Hello, purse. Okay. Oh, God. You almost slipped. This is my first day off in, well, not even that. I literally worked one day, but like I betrayed him and his trust. Look at him. So those count, and also in the case of series, I don't tend to buy series ahead. So I, for example, I will read the first book before I buy the second. In most cases, apart from when it comes to historical romance, Agatha Christie / other crime books, and also just like general romance, I guess. Anyway, the point is, I tend to buy them all. If I do those genres, I tend to buy them all at once. For example, I went through a month where I bought, I think, 6 or 7 J.D. Robbs. When it comes to those months, I just have to read the next book. So, for example, if I've read the first 3 books, then when it comes to that, I just need to read book 4 rather than having to read, all, let's say I bought 7, all 7 of them. So that again is kind of a work in progress because I am terrible at reading series. So I might, maybe not every month, but maybe halfway through the year, I might kind of do a little bit of a week-long personal readathon where I just try and read those particular books, even if it's just like one Christie, one Robb, one historical romance, and things like that, just so I can slowly get them off. I am of course going to be talking more about my goals in a separate video, but I thought I would just make this one and talk about it today. How do you feel about that? I am still waiting on a couple of books to come in for this year. I pre-ordered a whole bunch and they're just, taking their time because of... Okay, so my video cut out here. Didn't realize until it's been a few days later and I am editing it and it just ends. So what I was kind of going on to say was that I've ordered a few more books that I'm waiting on arriving, and when they do, the end of the year, I will tally up everything that I bought month to month and work out a little spreadsheet for myself and work out which ones I have read throughout the year, which ones I still need to read, which ones I might have unhauled or whatnot, and all the things like that. And yes, good stuff. I think that's everything that I was going to say originally. It's been a couple of days and I don't really remember, but thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.